try and enjoy this while it's there. It's supposed to get pretty cold and snowy soon.
Isn't that cute? It's raining little ice cubes. It look like they put diamonds on the mulch. This stuff is a lot of fun to play with. Okay. I just finished doing that video explaining everything with the ammonia in the water. Hopefully that goes over well. I don't know. Just gonna have to wait and see what happens there. That would have been part of this vlog, but I really thought it would take more than like 10 minutes to explain everything, and that's too much for the vlog. It's much better if I can like do little clips of everything going on throughout the week instead of having, you know, 50% potentially of the vlog being about one thing, though that does happen sometimes. And that way the video will come out, and we'll be able to see it, and then maybe see what happens throughout this week with the water and the fish and everything. I'm not really worried about them. They should be just fine, especially since I have the detoxifiers to put in there, and they're going to be getting frequent small water changes. I'm not really that worried. If this were a new system, I would be much more concerned. Yeah, that's what that is. I'm going to do a quick spotlight here on the Acapulco double impatiens from Proven Winners. Very quick, I'm doing 4 videos a week now. And I'm trying to keep it so that 2 of them are fairly short, and then 2 of them can be over 15 minutes perhaps. But, you know, I know not everybody wants to watch, you know, 15 to 40 minute long videos. So that way it's at about a 50-50 ratio. I don't know if I'll be able to keep that up. We'll just kind of see how it goes. You know, the more things you throw into the YouTube, the more complicated and hard it is to keep up with. And I prefer to keep things fairly casual around here. We can hang out, do our plant stuff together, and just learn and grow together. That's ideally what I would prefer to happen here on this channel. And overall just have a good time. So if I get like too stringent with the schedule and video lengths, it gets complicated. But I want to do my best to listen to what people say in the comments and try and meet those needs. The only one I've had to ignore is the noise from the waterfall. Is what it is, sorry, too bad. Nothing I can do about it. I can't turn it off, so. But yeah, I absolutely love these double impatiens. They have several different colors, but the nursery I got these from, these were really the only ones in bloom at the time, and coral is one of my favorite colors, so these are the ones I would have picked out anyways. It just kind of stinks that it is so hard to get the color to show on camera. I've tried different lenses and different things, and it's just, the beauty just doesn't come across. They're so sparkly, multi-toned, gorgeous. I shouldn't go into that too much because there will have been a video about these that would have come out probably just before this vlog. Yeah, that's what's going on with those. I'm going to try and incorporate these into some hanging baskets. Way back there's a begonia up in the sky. I had 2 of those. One of them like rotted out in the fall time, but I have one that hangs on each side of my front porch. Problem is, I'm not going to be able to buy another begonia that big. So I'm not going to have symmetry on each side of my porch. So I think I'm going to end up pulling this begonia out, doing something else with it, and repotting those hanging baskets with the Acapulcos in the middle. Potentially. You know, the sun is kind of intense up there in the morning. It might be too much for these guys. But actually, I actually think it'll be okay, because in the front area of my garden, I plant a ton of impatiens in the ground, and they do fine, so they should be okay in the hanging baskets too, as long as they're watered early in the morning. Yeah, that's kind of the plan with these guys. I got a whole bunch of them, but I only need 2 for those hanging baskets. So sometime during this vlog, we're going to head back to the nursery, because I want to get those hanging baskets started so they're kind of looking nice when I can move them outside in roughly a month. These are probably going to be the centerpieces of those hanging baskets. Hopefully they'll get big. These say 10 to 20 inches. I'm hoping they'll go more towards the 20 inches, because if they're the centerpiece, they're going to need some height on them. Yeah, that's what that is. Just explaining, whoops. Just explaining why when we go to the nursery, what I'm looking for, I'm going to be looking for spillers to come out of those hanging baskets. Well, it's another day. And I'm recording from inside again. And that's how you know it's cold outside. It is very, very, very cold. It's like 27. What the heck? I thought it was spring. It snowed a few days ago. Pumpkin, where you going? And the tortoise took the dog bed. We've had snow, we've had ice. It's supposed to be in the 20s for a while. So, still gotta stick with indoor projects. I gotta go to Petco, because, yeah, that happened. This used to be a booster seat, and now it's just a spiky danger trap. I had no idea there was so much hair in this thing until it fell down. That's nasty. Yeah, I have to have this out here. I keep it right there because the cat, the little one, likes to jump up onto these stools, then jump up onto the counter. But she can't jump high enough. She has achondroplasia or hypochondroplasia. It's a genetic mutation that basically she just didn't grow. So it's the same thing that causes dwarfism in people. One of the things that causes dwarfism in people. So I have to keep a step stool here so she can jump up onto those bar stools without tearing them up, because without that she jumps up and she ends up hanging from the sides to pull herself up. And one, it's dangerous for her. Two, it's, did I just say two? I just went 1, 2. So yeah, it's not great for the furniture, but these are, I don't really care about these anymore. That doesn't matter. So yeah, gotta go to Petco. Maybe see if the nursery's got some new tropicals in. Does that sound like fun, Pumpkin? No interest. Of course not. Yeah, it's a day of indoor activity. Alright, so I stopped off at the gas station, picked up the car. Sky is still beautiful. So the reason other than having to get the cat tree for my cat, I need to go to Petco and or PetSmart, is because a friend of mine has a young child. She's like 4 or 5 years old. He asked me around probably maybe December, January-ish, if I could get her or set her up with a Venus flytrap, because her daughter in preschool or kindergarten, whatever, they're studying the Venus flytraps, and she like really wants one. And I explained to her like the dormancy and all that stuff, but the stores are starting to get them back in. So I went ahead and I grabbed a couple of them, and I want to set it up into like a fun child type of terrarium for it. Because as we all know, Venus flytraps are not the easiest plants to care for, particularly indoors. A lot of people kill them for various reasons, especially children. They like to touch them and make the things close all the time. I was thinking a terrarium would probably be one of the best ways to go, because then it's kind of enclosed. I'm just going to use a plastic fish bowl. I want it to be plastic so that it's not breakable because she has young children. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find a plastic fish bowl, and I'm out of charcoal, so I'm going to pick up some carbon as well. And try and set it up into just something cute for a child, something that will keep them intrigued and interested in it, but also be safe and practical. So I'm picking up the supplies to do that, you know, as many cheap things as I can find to get that done. Yep, that seems about right. Get that stuff covered up. It is very cold. Very unseasonably cold. No, they had to move some plants inside. Pretty stuff, too. Look at that root. We're at Petco. PetSmart didn't have the little stumpy things that... The thing I'm looking for. The little mini cat tree. Whatchamacallit. Yeah, so give Petco a shot real quick. And then something else. I'll tell you about it after Petco. Alright, so this is what I already have. But the color got uglier on these. Not that the other ones are super attractive, but this one's on clearance, and it's... Oh, that's really gross and sharp. Well, gray it is. So now, Home Depot! Yeah, a couple weeks ago I was here and was talking about how they had these variegated yuccas. They were labeled as Yucca filementosa, and I was like, I don't think these are Yucca filementosa. The leaves were kind of broad. There was no hair in them at all. And there was nothing thread-like between the leaves or on the leaves, which is one of the characteristics of Yucca filementosa. So I did some digging around, and I think that they're either Yucca gloriosa or Yucca aloifolia. I would hope that they're the aloifolia, personally, because they trunk out much faster. Gloriosa is still beautiful, but it's a much slower grower. The problem is, sometimes Home Depot, when it's cold, they have their doors shut. Okay, their doors are open. That's good. So, it's been a couple weeks. I don't know if they're even going to have these still, but, yeah, what was I saying? It's been a couple weeks. I don't know if they're even still going to have them, but we're going to check it out and see. Alright, so here they are, and they're just labeled as variegated yuccas. But then the tag, which doesn't want to focus, says filementosa. These do not look like filementosa at all.
Not one bit. I mean, I guess in the sense that they're a yucca, they do. But the leaves are a little bit more stiff. Their growing axis is more trunk-like. Aloifolias would typically have pink in the leaves. When it's cold like this, there's a little bit of pink. So these are probably gloriosa, if I had to guess. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna grab a few. Alright, actually, I'm nearly positive this is gloriosa, which I don't really want. They grow too slow and they're not as hardy where I live, so never mind. This is just a big waste of time. Not a complete waste of time, because we at least got to talk about the yuccas a little bit. Yeah, like I said, the gloriosa, just not quite as hardy. Even though typically they're usually rated as more hardy than the aloifolia, I've just noticed anecdotally they tend to crown rot a lot faster in my climate here in St. Louis, faster than the aloifolias do. The problem though is that both of them are fairly hard to find. The gloriosas are becoming more common, but they really shouldn't be. And the aloifolias, I've only seen them like twice ever for sale out here. So, is what it is. Just gonna keep my eyes peeled for that right yucca. And the yuccas that I was looking for are going in a cactus succulent garden I'm putting in for somebody this summer, and I would prefer they be really, really hardy. So I may end up going with like the filementosa or the yucca color guard. It's bright, it's variegated, and it's very much fuss free where I live. They're hardy, I think, through zones 4, maybe zone 5, but this is 6A, 6B. Like, they'll be fine. Like, you plant them and just leave them alone and they're good. So for that project, that's probably the better way to go. It's gonna have to keep my eyes peeled for an aloifolia. My two favorites, I mean, I have many favorite yuccas. The rostrata is probably one of my absolute favorites, but they are expensive and not sold where I live, like anywhere at all. And they're not really sold from many growers either. They're harder to come by if you want one that's a larger size. I don't feel like waiting 15 years, having had some plant. I'd rather just drop the change and get one that already looks pretty cool. But they're expensive. So as far as the more common yuccas go, the Yucca aloifolia and Yucca recurvifolia are probably my two favorites. But I can never find them for sale. I have a recurvifolia that I've had for like 15 years and it's barely grown at all because it's way too cold here for them. But it hasn't died either, so I mean that says something for it. And with the recurvifolia, there's a variety I've been trying to find. You guys let me know if you ever see it or know where I can find it, because I haven't been able to find it. But I believe it's the Yucca recurvifolia, and it's called margarittaville, or margarita, I believe. I'll find it and insert a picture, but it's beautiful. But I've only ever seen pictures of it. I've never actually seen it for sale. I think Monrovia maybe had it listed for a while, but it was never actually available. I'm not positive about that. But yeah, those are two yuccas I've had my eyes out for the last several years, and just no luck so far. But that's okay. It is what it is. Can finally go home now. You approve? Okay. You approve? No response. Yeah, shit, I don't think she cares. You don't care, do you, pumpkin? Nope. Alright, I'm home now. I would like to get these Venus flytraps planted up, and just sort of a heads up, since this is going to be a gift for somebody, I'm probably going to be releasing a video of just what I'm doing right here, building this and the care of the plant, sometime in the next week, so that they can reference just like a quick brief video, and anyone else too who maybe doesn't feel like watching an entire vlog. This is just like behind the scenes fun stuff setting this up. So the video that comes out won't really be identical to this one, but I mean, you already know what's happening if you watch the vlog. So maybe I'll consider that a bonus video of the week. I don't know. I have no idea. But here's what I'm using. Now, typically with the Venus flytraps, the Dyneas, people will pot those up in either peat or sphagnum or a blend of both. The main thing is that you want it to be something that doesn't have a lot of nutrient in it, so nothing with slow-release fertilizers, preferably. These come from swampy areas where there really isn't much nutrient in their soil, and it retains a lot of moisture. They get their nutrients from the insects that land inside the traps. So I don't need a potting soil for this. I'm actually going to use coconut coir because there are like some ethical issues with sphagnum. Coconut coir probably, I would imagine, has a higher nutrient content than peat. It's not the same thing. As far as it breaking down goes, there may be a higher nitrogen release. Peat breaks down, I would think, more slowly than the coconut, but I could be wrong. This is kind of experimental.
which isn't ideal when it's a gift, but I didn't want to buy... Peat moss is only sold where I live in these gigantic, like, cubic yard bags. I couldn't do that, you know, so using this instead. And the way you use this is you just add water to it and let it expand for, I think, 20 to 30 minutes. Typically, you make the whole brick at one time. It says drop it in a bucket. What does it say? 4 quarts of water. Allow it to go 30 minutes, and then it will expand. So instead, I'm just going to try and break off a chunk because I don't need to make an entire bucket's worth and then have a bucket of the stuff laying around. I don't need that much of it. There we go. So now that I've gotten some of this broken up in here, I'm going to go ahead and add some filtered water. And I'm just going to add it very slowly over the next probably 20 or 30 minutes. And less is going to be more here since I'm not doing the amount they said. And I don't really feel like doing the math to figure out ratios. Just going to add a little bit at a time. Not very much. And let it expand. Now the reason you want to use filtered water is because tap water and things does have debris and it has stuff in it that can make the soil produce nitrogen. It will get broken down. And chlorines and chloramines and whatnot, those are things that the roots of the carnivorous plants, most of them, particularly the sarracenias, which are the pitcher plants, and then the Venus flytraps, those are going to be very sensitive to those chemicals in the tap water, typically. So I just use filtered water. I took it from my RO unit, and so it doesn't have any chlorine or anything in it. So, yeah, that's what's happening there. I'm going to wait for this to expand. So I just finished up with that. Not exactly my taste, but I think for a child this is practical and it will work well. I mean, I love the colors and everything. I just wish you could see the plants a little bit better, especially on camera. In person, you can see them just fine. But yeah, on camera, they don't really show very well. That's all right. I'm gonna take care of this for a few weeks, get it off to a good start, and give this to them. So that's done. It's fairly quick and easy. The coconut core seemed to work okay, but, you know, the proof will be in the growth of the plant. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. This is starting to grow on me, and I think it's just because of the plastic flytrap. Oh, I forgot to vlog while I was filming the video. Okay, so I used this colorful stone, I put this stuff right there, and then the flytrap. I just, you know, I threw it together and made it happen. It'll be in a video in a few days. Whoops, sorry. Alright, just got to the nursery. I really think it's still going to be a couple weeks of cold until I can get the annuals out, so I don't want to get too much. Like I said last time I was in this place, I would really prefer they keep them growing than me, so it's easier to come back and get them. So I'm really only grabbing things that I think will sell out before I can get them, you know what I mean? You know, somebody commented that, something about that the annuals are already on sale here, and that's really just from this greenhouse that they're not supposed to be planted yet. And they have signs everywhere saying it's too early to plant these, so they're staying on top of it. Only the necessities. Whoa, that was a success. Got some cool stuff. I'll show you when I get home. So, what I ended up getting were all very much warm-loving annuals. Warmth-loving annuals. Like I was saying, everything I picked up were all annuals that really prefer the warmth, so not the smartest thing to do. But you know what? In 2 weeks' time, we should be out of having cooler temperatures. Lows should be above 50. So I only gotta stumble over them for a couple weeks. That's not that big a deal. Because see, the problem is you don't get in and get the stuff like right when they have it, it's gone. So it's only the things where I'm like, they're gonna have a ton of these, I don't need to get them right now, that I'm gonna wait on. Anything else, I have to nab it up because, you know, I just went there about a week and a half ago and a fair amount of the stuff that they had wasn't there today. So I don't know why things are selling so fast. It is very, very cold here. We're like 3 to 5 weeks behind schedule for spring. I mean, it looks like winter. Things are starting to push out, but I mean, this is freaking pathetic for early to almost mid-April. I guess it's just early. It's not almost mid-April. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Being greedy and nabbing things up while I can. And back to my favorite nursery. Alright, so leaving that nursery, and it smells like nasty skunky tomato butts in here. Because there's a big tomato plant in the back of the car. And I've always known some people like the smell of the tomato plants. Kind of like geranium. It's sort of an acquired smell. Not a taste. It's an acquired smell, I guess. But yeah, not for me. Not right now. It really doesn't smell that great in this car right now. It smells like I just said, nasty skanky tomato butts. But hey, I got some cool stuff. Gonna head home and we will talk about it. And home. We'll have a look at those plants.
My autofocus is not working at all lately. Oh, so many plants.
Yeah, this plant haul's coming to you from the top of my old car. Because things are getting kind of tight in the bubble. I have room for the plants, but I'm gonna have to put them in places where it's not that easy to film. So, from the car.
Alright, so for starters, I picked up this hibiscus tree. It has a braided trunk, which I'm not really crazy about because that really limits the height you can get on these when they're standardized. You can get more height on, but you gotta keep wrapping it's complicated. But this variety right here, this variety is called the Seminole Pink. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it's really hard to come by where I live. And when the stores have them, they sell out very, very, very fast. So I went ahead and I grabbed one, just because I know I'll regret it if I don't. You know, back in the day, or at least I remember when I was a kid, you'd go to like Walmart, and I don't think Lowe's and Home Depot were even a thing then, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And most of the hibiscus trees, they came in the solid red, they were yellow, and the Seminole Pink. And then there were orange ones, but they were double flowered. Now, there's just colors beyond belief, and a lot of them are like the white with the red in the dark middle. I'm not crazy about this because they look like a Rose of Sharon, and I can grow that here as a perennial. But the Seminole Pink just has this classic happy bubblegum flower, which might look kind of white on camera. I can't tell from looking at my viewfinder. We'll see when I edit. They're so pretty. They're my favorite. Okay, and then over here, it's really just standard annuals. I went ahead and started picking up a bunch of my trailers so I can go on my hanging baskets. Grabbed a few of these succulent, Dorothianus bellatiformis. I really love these guys. They look so cool when they get going, and when the heat kicks in, they take off like crazy. And the flowers are very small and insignificant, but I just like the texture and the glossiness of the leaves on these. And then just the standard Wandering Yew over here, which is what, Tradescantia zebrina. Picked up a couple of the Tahitian bridal veil, which is a Jubaeus geniculata. Yeah, pretty stuff. These haven't really done much, but when these take off, they're really pretty. Again, not much is in the way as far as flowers go, but there's just something really elegant about them that I enjoy. Then I picked up just one of the Streptococcales. This variety is called Concord Blue. And the flowers, if I can find them, here we go. These are really, really nice shade trailers, and they don't like a lot of water, and they actually make a pretty good houseplant. So I just grabbed the one of those. Guys, I'm really sorry if this is going in and out of focus. I can't see my screen because of the sunlight, and the camera's being wonky. I don't know what the problem is there, so sorry about that. And everything else is really just impatiens, sun impatiens, regular impatiens, and New Guinea impatiens, which I'll be doing a whole entire separate video thing on, because there are several varieties here. Oh. And a hanging basket trailing tomato called Tumbling Tom, which will also be getting its own spotlight. I've wanted one of these for a while. They're pretty cool. Oh yeah, and I stopped by Walmart and I picked up a sea turtle. So that's all that stuff. Alright, and you know what? Unfortunately, this is where I have to wrap things up. Still cold, still waiting for spring. Gonna be cold for another couple days, maybe even some snow, but after that, it looks like things are going to get better. So, hopefully in the next coming vlogs, maybe the next week or two, things will start moving more back into the gardening direction. I don't know, just have to wait and see. But I got my fingers crossed. Spring will get here soon. But don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It helps the video so much, and I really appreciate every single one of them. Subscribe as well. I upload multiple times a week. I'll put all of my social media stuff down below, down there in the roots of the video. You can follow me, I'll follow you back. We can look at each other's plant pictures, have fun, nerdy plant time together. And comment down below just for the heck of it. I love talking to y'all. Alright, and as always, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.